Our last bit of reviews we got to get into the Ring of Powers and House of Dragon. Have you guys, let's see, everybody watch Ring of Powers? The finale was this past Friday. Were you guys able to watch it?
I was.
Yeah.
It was good.
Good.
I think we talked a lot about it previously, but we did call a lot of the things out that we thought were going to be it. I mean, relatively anticlimactic in that sense, but we know we're getting a season 2, so the assumption is that it's just going to continue to rise from here. But the spoilers and kind of what we thought was going to happen is that Halbrand is Sauron, and it's not the Meteor Man. Meteor Man is Gandalf, and you can base that off of the fact that he goes, whenever you're in doubt, use your nose, which he says in Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring. So you kind of get these precursors to these characters we kind of know. I think in terms of Sauron, we never really get to put a face to the Sauron, the figure. And that's kind of going to be interesting. We can see where Galadriel's hate comes from for Sauron and all of his minions. We're going to have to obviously figure out what happened with Isildur, because we know that him and Elendil are major factors in the beginning portion, and we're hopefully going to get to see this war that plays out between essentially all the factions of Middle Earth. So there's a lot of things that they need to do, and I enjoyed the journey. I thought there were some things that they could have tightened up just a little bit, and if the purpose was to make me feel wanting for more, then they did a great job.
Yeah, yeah, I agree on that. Yeah, Scott,
Yeah.
you have any thoughts on it?
Yeah, like, so I don't know as much about the lore as Drake does, but Christine has read what was it called?
Silmarillion.
Silmarillion. Yeah, okay. She's read it, but it's been a while. So like, there's certain things where she was kind of telling me, like, what's his name? Halbrand. How he was like Sauron, like so.
So wait, sorry, there was that's a benefit of probably like living with somebody else that like wants to learn different languages, like the subtitles, right? Like I have put subtitles on with everything, and that probably goes back from when I lived with Drake and Alondra. I put subtitles on everything, so I know this exact spelling of the name. It's like I was like, oh, it's Halbrand, not Halbrat. Got it.
You know what's funny? I've got subtitles on too. my memory is not good with names. Like,
okay.
I need to meet a person 10 times, and then I'll remember their name. Unless they have a cool name like Grimm, I'll remember that. But if it's like, oh, hey, I'm Jason, and then like 5 seconds later, I could turn around and be like, what's that dude's name? Like, I remember all, like, oh, I know he touches his eyebrows a lot, but I don't know his name. Like, I remember all the physical things, but I don't remember the fucking name, and it bothers me. But
gotcha.
I digress. So also, it's a personal thing with me. Like, I don't like the fact that Sauron and Saruman are like two names that sound too close
similar
together.
Yeah.
So when those witches or whatever came and they were like, "You're Sauron," like, and to Gandalf, which we assume is Gandalf. When watching the show, I'm like, this guy's either Gandalf or Saruman. So when they said you're Sauron, I was like, I knew it, you Saruman. And then like, then the dialogue's going on, and then they say Sauron. I'm like, wait, what the fuck? Did I mishear him? And like, I was just confused myself. I wish those two names weren't like so similar when they wrote the book. But
yeah, you just take it up with J.R.R. Tolkien.
Yeah, I'm gonna email that dude. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And but other than that, and then there was one other thing that Christine pointed out, but I didn't notice. She was like, the ring looks different. Like the rings they make. She was like, why didn't they just make it look like the ring in the movie? Like it looks different than the rings in the movie. Yeah. So I was like, I didn't notice, but she was really like she's watched that movie like so much. Yeah, she's like,
it's so funny.
She's like, why don't they just make the same ring?
Yeah,
she's like, you can even go online and buy the original ring. It looks nothing like the ring they did here.
That's
I'm like,
so funny.
Interesting.
I literally was thinking that when I was watching it too. I was like, was that what it looked like in the movies? Like, I don't know. Yeah,
but
you're right.
Other than that, I really enjoy the show. I'm really like invested in all the characters, even like the Harfoots and like now like Gandalf is going off with that little Harfoot now, and they're going off to like whatever direction they choose. I'm down for it. Really enjoying it. It was a really solid finale, I'd say.
Yeah, definitely. Grim, were you able to watch it?
No, because we got 4 episodes in. I don't mind, no, because I'm still gonna watch it anyway.
Okay, cool.
Sorry, spoiler alert.
I'm still gonna watch it anyway. No, I'm good. You know what? And you guys are gonna laugh. I've been listening to your last 2 or 3 episodes, and hearing you talk about this show has pretty much made for a fact that I'm gonna watch the rest of it.
Nice.
Okay.
Because
that, man.
But because it started Halloween month for us, we kind of dropped all stuff that is not horror.
Gotcha.
That makes sense.
So that's it. Kind of fell off the team. Like the only thing that we watched this month that wasn't horror was She-Hulk, and by some people online, that's also a horror show. So,
right.
So yeah, so I didn't get to watch this, but I like with everything you guys have said, and I'm like, because before the show started, we watched all of the Lord of the Rings and all of the Hobbit movies in preparation for this show.
Oh, nice.
So we can go in fresh. And then we got to like episode 4 or so. Like the elven dude was underground doing some stuff, and Galadriel fell off the boat and is in the city somewhere. And then where she was rescued.
She went to Numenor. Yeah.
And the elven dude is going through the tunnel where I guess that ends up being the big boom boom thing. So
yes, it does. It's a big boom that happens because of it. You're not wrong. Yeah, man.
So once we get over, we'll catch up, and then I'll watch it. You guys make it sound like really good. Like I'm excited to watch it.
So yeah, I mean, and I'm hoping these guys can like correct me if I'm wrong somewhere. Like it was a little bit challenging for me to kind of finish this last episode, and I think I knew. Like knowing that there's going to be a season 2, like it was like, I was like, okay, I gotta get through it. But like, yeah, it was a little hard for me because it wasn't an action packed episode. It's not like it's like all this stuff, but then I say that and like House and Dragon wasn't necessarily action packed either, but it like, there was a lot of threads that they were trying to tie up. And there was a lot of like world building and setting up for season 2 is what I felt like.
Yeah,
there was no big battle, right? I mean, like they had the big battle last episode. So I guess like, was it episode 7? They have this like awesome big battle, and the fight scenes in it are amazing. And maybe I'm getting spoiled with it, but I don't know. I thought for like $250 million, there'd be a fight scene like in every episode. You know what I mean? But so it was good. There was a lot of great character building, and they kind of like bring things full circle. But I think maybe it was because we had discussed it and we were kind of on the nose about Halbrand, that it maybe diminished it a little bit for me, because I'm like, yeah, we know he's Sauron. And it was like, but like, I probably shouldn't have known that. It might have hit bigger.
Potentially.
And even like us talking about the stranger being Gandalf, it was like, well, he kind of like, he's, he doesn't seem evil, but like some bad things are kind of happening around him. So like, I don't know if he's evil or not, but he also is like nice to this girl. So maybe he is Gandalf. And then boom, we get the nod that he's Gandalf. So it was like, there wasn't big twists in the way that you're like, whoa, I'm so surprised by that. You kind of know, like if you're paying attention, a little bit about the books or the movies, you're going to know who these characters are.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it was pretty flat out. And I think there was some like clickbait that was like, why did the 3 individuals think that essentially Gandalf was Sauron? Well, if you read the books, they're essentially the wizards are essentially the same, right? It's just like the same as Saruman when he became bad. That's essentially what Sauron happens to be to an extent, right? Like, so
right, he's like one level below the Valar, right? Isn't that what it is?
Yes, and the wizards are essentially Valar to an extent. They're just like, I think they're like one level down from that because they were created by.
Right. So I don't remember what the name is, but yeah, they have like their own type of name. It's, I don't know, but it's like Solar or something, but like it has another R-esque ending name, right?
Yeah.
Which I'm happy you brought that up, because we finally get to see like those people in the white outfits who are obviously evil, like going around, and we finally get to see what they're after, and they're trying to find Sauron. And for a split second, they kind of threw us off with, oh, they're not like they don't know who Sauron is at this point. Like I thought maybe they had, or like they had something that could sense like it was actually Sauron, but it wasn't. So like I liked that part of it, but I also liked it gave the stranger something to like fight against, and also to like to show him how much he actually cared for the little Harfoot girl by protecting her. It was like, all right, yeah, like he's definitely a good guy because he doesn't want to see her get hurt. I'm like, all right, cool, like I get that. That part of it was dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think of what
there was a part
happened.
when they were having the battle, like the three witches and the Harfoots were like throwing rocks and shit. You know that part with their awesome aim. And there was a part where like the witch, like I think she got hit in the head and she drops her staff. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Like, what? Like, what kind of Looney Tunes shit is this? Dropping your staff? Like, what? But then, overall, I've watched and enjoyed worse CW shows. So like, like there's a time where like I have to like I get worked up for a second. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? And then I'm like, wait, just take it for what it is. Like it's kind of goofy right now. The kids, they're helping. That's what's happening. So like, and they kind of did, but I know it's definitely not like the tone is definitely different than like House of Dragons, and the twists aren't as like jarring, or the deceit and stuff aren't as jarring as like the HBO's House of Dragons and whatnot. And like I think it did kind of hinder the experience if like you already know that Hal Brath, or I'm saying his name wrong,
Hal Brand,
Halle Berry is Sauron. And if you know that that's Gandalf, right? Like I think like going in, if you just kind of like didn't know about it, I think those are like kind of big reveals, like, oh no, he's supposed to be good, he's bad now. But I do enjoy like the tone of the show, and I'm starting to like the characters, and like I think I'm enjoying it personally, like the show for what it is, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of that. Like when you see all the Harfoots together, it does remind me of like the Shire and like the Hobbits and whatnot, and that sort of. So I feel like the show for me is like still capturing like that Lord of the Rings feel. Yeah. And I guess maybe it's the music. It's probably the music as well. I'm not focusing too much on it, but it's usually the music.
Man, that slow motion. The slow motion hug between the two Harfoot girls was like, oh yeah, this is Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
It was exactly. Lord of the Rings when they were hugging.
Yeah.
I was like,
so Samwise.
Also, when they introduced like this is the new area you're in, like I think a lot of the CG money's going into like how detailed they're making that whole like Numenor and everything, right? I'm always like, oh God, damn, this is beautiful. Like the way they did this. So I know it wasn't like as action packed, but I think I still enjoyed it though. But I definitely hear what you guys are saying, and I agree with that too. Like,
right. No, if I came across like I hated the show, that was not the case. Like I definitely enjoyed it. I enjoyed the characters, I enjoyed the writing. I just it felt more like a penultimate episode rather than a finale to me, where I felt like they actually got them reversed, like almost like the penultimate and the finale. But I could see what they're doing. And had I had watched this and didn't know this was or that a season 2 was coming, I might have been like, what the fuck was that? Like, that's it? I don't know. I could see me like not knowing that and being a little bummed out. Yeah. So
you wanted less Saving Edmund and more Helm's Deep.
I always expect like a Lord of the Rings to end on Helm's Deep.
Dude, they got Helm's Deep the series.
Orcs, and I want like Gandalf the White to come in and just wreck fools. Like unfortunately that's the standards I have for myself. So yeah,
it's understandable.
I mean,
so to the producers for season 2, a Helm's Deep battle in every episode is what is requested.
It's not too much to ask for.
The producers probably
stop blowing the budget on the backdrops. Beautiful budget blown backdrops are not necessary. Let's just get Helm's Deep.
Dude, that was some serious alliteration. Beautiful blown backdrops. Dave, you just spit that. That was awesome.
I can do shit like that all day.
But no, it was really good. I mean, it's definitely made me want to watch season 2, and it's definitely not the worst thing I've watched. Like I'm like, wow, there's some episodes where I was like, that was really freaking good, and I'm captivated. So it's if you've been waiting, this whole time to like kind of binge it and like watch everything, like you're in for a treat. There's gonna be so much good good stuff there. And yeah, I'm excited to see these characters come back for a season 2. Yep, definitely. All right, so talking about a penultimate episode, last thing on our list for reviews tonight, we got House of the Dragon episode 9. What did we think? Grim, have you watched it again by chance?
Not a single episode of none of the dragon, nothing at all has crossed these eyes, unfortunately. All I know is that if you get pregnant, you're dead.
Yeah. You get married, dead.
If you get married, you're dead. And if you're related, you're getting married and pregnant, and you're dead.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. You nailed it on that. Yeah, Drake, what were you gonna say?
No. Just that's definitely the case. Like I told you before, like just the fatigue of watching these people fight for power and what they're willing to do and like what's the seed about. And then in this episode, I didn't really get that. I felt the tension a little bit more. Maybe I accepted the fact of, but you got to really see Allison be like, I really misunderstood what he said, but I guess that's what he wanted. And so this is just going to happen. I'm just going to let this happen.
Yeah, it goes back to that thing you always say. What do all these problems stem from?
Yeah, it's just the.
I thought you were going to say communication.
Communication. Sorry.
We communicated badly about the communication.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. No, but on the nose, right? Just the communication in general, right? So pretty much everybody wants power except for the people who don't. And the people who don't are being forced to have power. And it's just kind of a perpetuation of that. But in this, you could kind of see how Allison is like, ooh, I don't really know if we should be doing this. But everybody around her is like, yeah, we should be fucking doing this. And then she's like, I guess. And then everybody's like, no, for real. And then at the end, you're kind of seeing like, okay, we're just going to do the thing. And they do the thing. And then they don't recognize like, this is why we have a Game of Thrones in general. So it kind of comes together and you're like, oh, okay, I get it. At the same point in time, it kind of took a long way around. But I think one of the better episodes overall. I mean, how did you guys feel about it?
Yeah,
I agree with that.
agree with you.
I felt like Tom's was saying too, like you definitely feel the tension throughout the whole episode, which I really liked. It felt like not as much actually, but kind of like when I watched Uncut Gems and I'm like, oh fuck, like you're just in it. Like like the miscommunication's happening, like there's gonna be treachery and stuff like for instance, she misunderstands her husband, she's like, oh, Aegon's gonna be king. And then like the coup they do at the table, they're like, well, we already were talking about this and we have a plan. And then that old guy stands up and is like, hey, what are you guys doing? And then Kristen's like, shut up, and like super violently sits him back down.
I mean, yeah. How much do you hate Kristen Cole?
Sir Kristen, yeah. Sir Kristen's like a fat one, dude. Fuck that guy.
Like him. I hate that
like,
dude now.
What?
Talk about fall from grace, man. Like he came in as like this noble knight who was not highborn, and that he got all this, like finally a chance to be something. And man, if the point is to show like what unrequited love turns you into, man, they did it because he's a fucking monster.
Yeah. It's funny is that when that guy dies, like Christine immediately goes, that's what those balls are for.
To just murder him. He basically, for those who haven't watched it, for Grimm, like, he basically, this guy gets murdered on like a pool ball that they use to like announce they're there. So there's a council meeting, and the whole story of this season basically is like, hey, a woman shouldn't be king, or a woman shouldn't rule the Iron Throne. And behind even Allison's back, we see that the council is meeting and like, we're gonna put your son in there, whether you like it or not, whether you know it or not. Like, we're gonna make your son king.
Whether the king wants it or not, too. Like, geez.
And that's it. And then and so that's what I completely agree with you, Drake. It's like, there's people who shouldn't have the power, that's all they want. And there's people who can have the power and they don't want it at all. And you can see that with Aegon in this episode, right? Because it's basically the whole time this episode is like, where's Waldo for Aegon? And then we see that, it's Alicent versus her dad. She finally sees that her dad has been playing her like a pawn, and that he's been moving around like, hey, go be in Viserys's room, and hey, go be close to him, and hey, comfort him, and all these things. And we finally see that Alicent is smarter than we think. And also she, her drive for wanting to start this and then put her son in place is driven by the fact of this misunderstanding. Like she has an Aegon, her Rhaenyra has an Aegon. I don't even know, does Alicent know that she has a new son, Aegon? Like, I don't even know if that connection was ever established in the show. Like, I'm sure the books would be able to explain it, but I didn't see it in the show.
So I don't remember seeing it.
I'm pretty sure isn't Aegon the youngest one out of the three? She has two, the two ones, and then there's a younger one, and then there's a baby inside her stomach, right? The youngest one is Aegon.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay. Yeah, you might be right on that. But it was just like, yeah. So I don't know if that was ever established, but we kind of see that it's not just the greens and the blacks, right? There's also infighting within the greens. And you see it at the council table. Like we got, every Lannister that pops up except for Tyrion has been a douche. Of course, this Lannister is no different.
Mhm.
And Criston Cole like murders that guy. He's a super douche now. But we can also see that Otto Hightower, Alicent's dad, is also trying to pull power from her, or like create his own situation here for his own good, I guess. I don't really know what it does for him putting Aegon at the top, other that it will secure Alicent and her family's place, and that they maybe won't get murdered, which Rhaenyra never said she would murder them anyway. But
yeah, but I think, like you said, it's probably that, just security, job security, and family security,
security.
Yeah, life security.
That's true.
Security.
That's true. It is. Well, so I guess that's what we're going to be seeing, right? Because the whole thing of House of the Dragon is showing what led to the fall of House Targaryen, what led to the Dance of the Dragons, basically the death of the dragons, right? Where there's no dragons alive anymore in this world. And we're seeing it here. And I like this episode in that there is tension, because it's who's going to find Aegon first, and that it's not Alicent versus Rhaenyra, it's Alicent versus her dad. And and that we can even see that there's even a split between the people in the greens that are against each other. Like, and we can see it in the twin brothers, Eric and Eric. And I didn't really know the difference between their names. I don't know about you guys, but they got for subtitles, because I was like,
what's so funny?
That shit exactly the same.
I didn't know their names, but in my head when I was watching, I was like, oh, these guys, are these twins? Or first I said, are these twins? Christine's like, yeah. And I'm like, in my head, I was like, Max and Jax, like just like giving them names. And then their names happen to rhyme. I'm like, this is hilarious. Like, wasn't too far off.
You're like, did I write this? Man, I'm good. But yeah, so Eric, and we can see the difference between there. On Geek Freaks asked a really good question. Do we think Aegon is Aegon evil, or is he stupid? Like, because like, or is he just a bad person, but is he not evil? You know what I mean? Like,
well, yeah, because apparently we don't know all the details, right? Because one of the brothers was like, you don't know him like I do. So like, I don't think we know. They're talking to us too, right? Like, we don't know the dude. Like, so far, all we know is he's like, he feels like his father's always hated him. So he probably always kept himself like fucking off. So we see him as stupid, but he could just be like really smart, fucking off, and like doing like evil shit. Because in that underground area where the kids were fighting, remember those kids are fighting? They're like, they hinted like one of the boys was like his son, right, or something.
Right.
So I'm like, dude, is he having kids and then making them fight? Because that's evil shit.
Right. That's my thing. Or does he not even like? Did he never see his son there? Or does he like? Is his son not one of the kids that fought? It was another thing I thought about. But I'm like, how ignorant is he in this process? Does he know? Right. Like, does he know that that's his? I mean, he has to know that's his son. Like, even Rhaenyra's kids have brown hair that she had with something strong. Like even they have brown hair, so he has to know that's his kid. But maybe that kid doesn't fight, is what I thought. But like, I don't know. So yeah, I don't know. I wonder. He doesn't come across as like a Joffrey to me. You know what I mean? Where
Right.
Joffrey was just pure evil. He just is like, maybe he's just like bad, or like maybe he thinks it's acceptable because of his like place in the kingdom. Like he's like, I know I'm the king's son, so like I can do this shit. I can like, bang the bride, whatever you handmaiden. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
Right. But I think we also don't know enough about him, I think. Because I think that might be a twist. Like that might be maybe the last twist of like, also, this is how evil this guy is.
Right.
Or it could just be he's dumb. But the fact that we don't know kind of leaves it open. Like we know Aemon is like, he's been training. He's a badass. And side conversation, I was talking with Christine and I was like, is there any other thing that you can wear that like you're wearing it because you have a hindrance? Like, so like he lost an eye. He's wearing an eye patch now, right?
Yeah.
Eye patch like kind of elevated him to look cooler. Like, is there any other thing you can like wear to like make you look cooler than when you had like she was like peg leg?
Like that,
so maybe eye patch and peg leg, but other than that,
pirate.
Like, yeah, maybe because you associate that with pirate. But like you don't like see someone in crutches, you're like, dude, I'm afraid of that guy now. You know what I mean?
Right.
But if someone shows up with an eye patch, you're like, what's the story behind that?
True.
Like it's just kind of so I don't know. And I don't know how he fights so well. He has no depth perception. But
we're
like they always do that
makes him a more
like,
badass fighter than Aegon.
Light
though.
spot.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like,
But,
I agree with you
true.
because who's coming after Nick Fury? Like,
Right.
you're still not going to step to Nick Fury even with one eye down. So yeah, I
that's
agree.
true.
That's like it's like the most badass disability in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
I mean,
You could probably just like rock an eye patch if you just want to be cool. Like no one knows you. You're like, I want to I want to
move to a new town.
Yeah.
I want to change my
person.
identity.
My name is One-Eyed Willie.
Yeah. Damn, don't fuck with Willie. He's a beast.
One-Eyed Willie. You better leave him alone.
Exactly. So yeah, no, great point. Yeah, it's weird, and I hope you're right that we kind of figure out why, like how much he actually does know, and if he's if he's kind of smarter than he's playing, or if he's just kind of complicit. I don't know. Like I hope we kind of get a little bit more details there.
Yeah.
But we get to see Alicent go to Rhaenys, right? Lord Corliss's wife.
Mhm.
And you kind of get to see her plea to Rhaenys and say, hey, like you should join our side. Like I can't let you go from the castle because like I know that we're gonna make Aegon king, and I know that you're close with Rhaenyra, but I can't let you do this. And we kind of see, we get to see Rhaenyra kind of give Alicent credit, but at the same time, we know later on at the end of the episode that might have been the catalyst for her to be like, you know what, fuck you guys, like I'm gonna do my own thing, and you know what, I also have a dragon underneath here, and like, I'm about to bust it out. Do we want to just kind of
bust it out?
There was a part though that when that happens, real quick, I kind of laughed just because, like, as badass as it was, right? I also laughed because I'm like, dude, these poor people who live in this town, right? They got like fucking hoarded up there, like, don't go back home, like we're going up here, like what the fuck? And then they make him come to this big ass room, and then like they're forced to listen to this dude. They're like, yeah, he's a new king. They're like, all right, like they clapped on the second time they were told he's the new king, and he's like, oh okay, yeah, cool. Like, we don't want to be here. And then the fucking ground explodes, the dragon comes out, and like I'm like, dude, half the town died. Like, what's going on? Like, half the town got blown up or got traumatic head injuries, which is probably gonna lead to death because there's like no good hospitals. Then, right? So you're like,
and no meds except for milk of the puppy.
Yeah, exactly. So it's funny. It's just like another reminder. I'm like, this is such a show that's like kind of like keeping up with the Kardashians. It's like all about just them and like fuck the people who like live in the kingdom.
Yeah.
Like, I definitely still like the show, but that was just like a reminder. I'm like, these guys are just like
like the poor people of this town.
Aegon's wife and sister. Yeah, definitely. Aegon's wife, who's his sister, and then we think she's just like a crazy person, but essentially she's been pumping out all these prophecies
Right.
The whole time. Like, and that kind of adds a little bit of value to, I guess, their marriage in that sense, or even value just to that character. But to the point of like, it is kind of like that Kardashian, like fuck everybody else except for the people who are the most important. And man, it was just kind of tough in that sense to watch these things happen, especially when Rhaenys kind of chose her bloodline, her family over what Alicent was doing. Because really, because Alicent didn't want to take the crown and be the queen, I think Rhaenys was like, well, if you're not strong enough to do that, then I might as well choose one of my own family members who is strong enough or who, deserves it, etc.
Yeah. I kind of saw it, like I hear what you're saying, but I kind of saw it a little differently. Like I kind of saw it in a way that was like, oh, well, like she couldn't let Alicent take the crown because like she's like, if I'm not gonna let Rhaenyra have it, and she's definitely strong-willed enough to be able to rule the Iron Throne or from the Iron Throne, then like you definitely can't have it. And like you're not my family. Like I know Rhaenyra, like I've known Rhaenyra since she was born. Like she's my blood. Like I'm going to stand by her side. I was more curious because when she busted out with the dragon, she kind of just stares at that. And I think the question for me is like, was she just staring at Alicent and Aegon after this badass, ceremony? Was she just staring at her because she's a mother and that she doesn't want to do this to another mother? Or was she doing this just because she was conflicted at the time and like, or she just wanted to bring this information to Rhaenyra first? I don't know. What were your guys' thoughts on that?
That's a great.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting because she could have very well ended it all, right?
She could have.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like, she could have just killed them all and then flew off and told Rhaenyra, like, hey, castle's open, you can come back.
Yep. She could have said Dracarys, boom, wiped out all the competition for Rhaenyra, and then would have been game over right there. But she doesn't. She looks at them, gives them the freaking dragon howl, and then decides to dip out. So that part of it was really, really interesting for me.
Yeah, that was interesting. Because that would avoid the future war that is coming. Like the future battle. But maybe it's like she doesn't want blood on her hands. Like you're saying, like maybe it's like
because there's no season 2.
What? What's that? Did you say? Oh, sorry, we couldn't hear you right there.
I said it's because then there's no season 2.
Yeah. So you're saying writing is what did it. I got you.
See, that's that's like those moments. I love the Flash, but when they write in the sense where like the Flash comes up and he stops 30 feet from the bad guys, like, you got to give up. And I'm like, bro, just appear next to him and karate chop in the neck, put the cuffs on him. But you don't have a show if he's just too badass. So you got to like.
Exactly. Because then it's 10 minutes. It's 10 minutes long. He walks in, he runs in, it's all done.
Yeah.
Like, hey,
the Flash
job,
show should really just be like TikToks, but.
Yeah, for sure. That part of it, you're right, definitely. I think just in terms of the characters of the story, I hope that they kind of touch on what her motivations are. The other thing is like we've heard Lord Corlys is like suffering an injury. Like, where is he? Do you think we see him in the finale?
I think we got to.
Yeah. Like, is he healthy enough to be there? He hasn't been healthy enough for like the last couple episodes, is why.
Yeah, I mean, well, we also got to think about Rhaenyra's late husband, Laenor. Like, he's still alive too, right? So are we assuming that they're going to recruit and we're going to see a season 2 finale of like, the biggest and baddest of the main character situations potentially, right? So I mean, there's just a lot of potential. We'll kind of have to just wait and see what they decide to do with it all.
Yeah, because I definitely think he comes back, but I would think that he has to come back before the end of the season there. Let's see. Yeah, I kind of want to go back to just kind of how the miscommunication and that had Viserys had not been, I don't know if he was like drugged out or on his deathbed. If Alicent had showed up at that time, it would have been all different had the kids didn't get into the fight at the end of episode 8. Like if the kids were all cool at the end, where we could see like how much the parents' hate has passed on to the kids. it's just interesting that if that didn't happen and Rhaenyra decided to like go back home and then come back on Dragonback, that she would have been there and she probably would have been by her dad's side to hear that my son Aegon should be king, and it wouldn't have been Alicent. So yeah, it's amazing kind of like plot driving and how it's also like for me, it's also rewritten how I view Alicent, because it kind of changes her motivation rather than just life protection. It's also like I need to do this because I have loved my husband, and that if I want to honor him, his dying wish was to make our son king. So that's the other thing too, where I liked how this episode kind of changed like the way I view Alicent and like her motivations. Like it's kind of made her like good again in a way. Like I like at least empathetic or like sympathetic towards her position.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You like her motivation.
Yeah, like
Or
it's totally changed her
this
motivation.
it gave you a new outlook on what her motivation is.
Right, because she was trying to like when it came down to just life protection, as we had joked about earlier, now it's if I want to honor this man that I loved, and yeah, I was conflicted a lot of times, and there was things I had to do as duty, being his wife. That was one thing, but I think there was a genuine care for him, and she was there by his side even when his eye was falling out and parts of him were like falling off and all these things. She was still there by his side. And now it's like if I want to honor him in his memory, like I need to see this thing, that his dying wish, I need to see it happen. Like I got to make it happen. So I like that too. And it again, like talk about writing. I thought that was a great writing choice, because now her motivations and why Alicent and Rhaenyra will now fight to the death is because they feel like this is what their dad/husband wanted. That's his last wish. I need to make
brother.
Yeah. Luckily, it's not
yeah.
the same person. It's not a full Targaryen merged into the same person. It's two different people. But yeah. So,
but yeah, I did like as well when everyone's like, we're just gonna kill Rhaenyra and the family, and then she's like, what? No. Like I'm gonna honor his. There's a way to honor his like wish, and like keep them alive. I'm not trying to do that. So like that did make me like her more.
Yeah,
like,
you're totally right. Like she in the beginning of that council was like, no, we don't have to kill her. Like we don't have to do, like we can let her know and let her out. Like she can honorably step aside basically. And then we can go about and do what we were going to do anyway. And they're like, nah, let's just kill her. Like, let's just cut her out.
Like, they're like, you don't understand. We got to kill. And she's like, what do you know? Like, we've been planning it. We're going to do it.
Right. Yeah. So that part of it, I think it's been, in terms of writing and how it's kind of come full circle, because I was definitely, I'm just curious to see how the finale goes, because it's really going to determine, it's been a roller coaster on both shows for me. And I was like, man, I think House of the Dragon's better. And then I was like, oh, I think the Rings of Power is better. And it's been going back and forth all season. And right now, House of the Dragon is really ending strong for me. And I'm curious to see what this finale looks like next Sunday, because it was good. It was a good episode. I was floored. Good mic drop moment at the end of the episode for sure. Well, let's final words. We can talk about, we got Comic Book Club. We're going to briefly go over it real fast. I know that Grim, if you have anything to say, please jump in here. I finished the Black Adam. We were reading Geoff Johns' series about Black Adam, Shazam #1 from Geoff Johns. And yeah, it really ends up with the family coming together and sharing the power with Shazam. And Shazam beats Black Adam by getting him to say Shazam, which I thought was really interesting. And he kind of dies at the end of the book, which I thought was weird. But it's kind of this combination of what I was expecting. I was expecting the book, how I was expecting the book to go, and the movie of Shazam. So like he gets the Shazam family out of it, and Billy's like officially part of the family now, and he accepts that he's a hero and all these things. But Shazam basically kind of dies in the book. Black
Shazam?
Adam.
Oh, Black Adam.
Black Adam. Sorry.
Wait, he kills him? Because I remember, I think I do remember reading this. I didn't read it this time around, but I thought I read this where he changes the name of his word, like to transform. Was
Oh,
that not this run, or did he
I
just kill him in
mean,
this one?
I might have been tired or high, but I do not remember that.
Okay,
I think it
there
was
was
pretty.
one run. I think it was like, I want to say it was a new 52, but there was one where like, yeah, he says Shazam, and then it hits Black Adam, and I believe he changes the name, or so Black Adam can't transform because he doesn't know the name that he. It's like he changed the password on him. I don't
Right,
know how
right,
that
right, right.
works, but from what I gathered, maybe my memory's shot, but I thought that's what it was, that run. But
Yeah.
that's like a less if they do it in the movie, The Rock can stick around, is what I'm trying to say. But
Yeah.
right,
they
right.
won't
And
kill him.
I
But
don't think they're gonna, yeah, no, for sure. I gotta like reread that part. I'm already on to like the new book, the JSA. So I've already
okay,
kind of
cool.
felt like I forgot exactly how that situation went down, but you might be right. But I don't think they're gonna do that in the Black Adam movie. What I can see though, just based on this book, is that they're going to need to show the wizard. And I wonder if it's going to be the same guy. I forget what that actor's name is, but he was in Guardians of the Galaxy. He was in that fighting movie. I don't
Never
know if it
back
was.
down.
Yeah, Never Back Down.
Oh
That
yeah,
was so
yeah,
good.
yeah.
Yeah, that guy. I love that guy. So I wonder if it's going to be the same wizard in the Rock's movies, because that's how he gets his powers. Adam, from that same wizard. So I hope that there's that similarity, but I'll just stop there, and then I'll after I move on to JSA. But you guys have any thoughts on some Black Adam stuff from what we read in Shazam?
I think you covered
No,
it.
unfortunately, I wasn't able to read more than I
Yeah.
read last
Okay.
time. So
Yeah, all good. All right, so then moving on. So then JSA, this book has been interesting. It's also by Geoff Johns, and it really kind of focuses on the JSA. And it's weird because it's kind of written in this way that makes it feel like it's in the olden days, like maybe the 40s or 50s, but they have like modern things. Like there's like, they talk about like, I want to say maybe texts or calls or stuff like that. So it's kind of like weird. I'm like, what is this time frame? But we get to really see who's involved in the GSA or JSA. So we get to see Dr. Fate. You get to see Stargirl's dad, or like older brother, I think it is. We get to see, there's even like this, because we just read the Sandman. It was cool to hear like they have, the Sandman, the DC character in it too. And it kind of starts off in a very like Watchmen-esque type of way, where it's about the Sandman, the original Sandman has died. And he basically like kills himself to bring this like demon or bad guy like out from this other dimension. And so he like kills himself basically in front of, I want to say, the Flash. What was the original Flash's name, Scott? I'm trying to think of what it is.
Are you talking about the
frick, the guy with the helmet?
Yeah, yeah.
yes,
The silly helmet.
Oh my gosh.
But I'm pretty sure.
The Flash fan failure right now. Sorry.
I know.
It's been a long episode, so I don't blame you. But yeah. So
Jay Garrett.
Jay Garrett. That's right.
Thank you. I was just about to say it.
Nice. And so perfect. So they basically, the JSA is there to be at the funeral of the original Sandman, Wesley Dodd, or I think so, Wesley Dodd. And so they, so where I'm at, it's just a lot of backstory of like who the JSA are, the members. Like you get to see Black Canary's there. We get to see Hawk Girl, who like is just like discovering her powers for the first time and is like literally trying to figure out how to fly. And yeah, they're really just kind of like coming to grips with death, and also like how these superheroes view death. But yeah, as where I'm at right now in the story, it's more of an origin story. And yeah, what's cool about what I've seen in the Black Adam trailer is, and what we know about it, these characters are like very much a part of the original JSA, right? So Dr. Fate, they went Hawkman instead of Hawk Girl. At least from this run, it was Hawk Girl. We're getting Hawkman in the movie, right? But the Atom is there. You get to hear some backstory on the Atom, and yeah, like I didn't really know a lot about that character going into this, but I'm definitely excited to see him. Like he's definitely a more of a humanizing character than I thought. So like I'm excited to see that guy brought to life. Cyclone seems to be a little bit newer character, but I can like just her powers look so dope. I could see why they would put her in the movie. Yeah, but yeah. just hearing some of that, the origin of these guys, it's been a pretty cool book. And yeah, Black Adam versus the JSA is going to be insane. So that's kind of just a pretty weak version of where I think this book, or what it's been about, and how I think it's going to tie into Black Adam. Yeah. I don't know. Do you guys have any other knowledge about the JSA that I did not cover?
No, I'm just looking up Cyclone. So it's just the granddaughter of the original Red Tornado. That's cool.
Oh,
so do you think the Black Adam movie is going to be set in the past? Like not too much in the past, but like, do you think they're going to do like current day time, or are they going to go back 20, 30 years or so that they give him time?
Justice League?
Yeah, since they're doing JSA, because you can't do a JSA movie now with the new Justice League. They have to meet, and unless the JSA is running around while you have a current Justice League, this movie has to be set some years in the past.
Damn, I didn't even think about that, but you're probably, I mean, I think you're definitely right if I had to guess, because yeah, you're right. Like, how would the Justice League make sense if the JSA is out there? Like, why wouldn't Batman have reached out to the JSA?
Yeah, because Aquaman could go toe to toe with Adam for like 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And then Superman, like I said, I mean, so if anything, I could see them doing the basis of the movies in the past with the JSA, but then towards the end or even a post-credit scene, Black Adam shows back up in current day, and then that's what leads to Superman versus him.
Nice. Oh my God, man, you've been excited for this, because yeah, you're totally, I didn't even think about the timeline aspect of it, but yeah, that makes you could be 100% right on that. Yeah, that's dope.
But that's what I was wondering.
Right. Yeah. What do you guys have any thoughts about? Well, I don't know, just anything in terms of the movie, because I like this whole. I mean, man, you just got me re-excited for it. Like, I was already on board because the reviews have been stellar. People are like, "This is the superhero movie we've been missing for a while." They kind of all got to say that, but it really just looks so fun and action packed. So yeah, that's a mindset I'm going into it with. Drake, you have any thoughts about Black Adam coming out?
No, I think hopefully this is kind of like the pivot that DC takes to kind of realign themselves with something that's a little bit more on like the Marvel tip. And what I mean by that is not necessarily Marvel, but with being engaging, being the thing that the fans want to see, just have better writing, have better character building. And I think, I mean, with The Rock on board, I want to assume that it's working in the right direction, or I want to hope, I should say. So yeah, just looking forward to seeing how it is in theaters, and getting to kind of match the reviews with the actual movie. So
yeah, for sure. Yeah, Scott, anything on that?
Shoot, I'm just looking up like when it takes place now, but
I don't want to.
Articles are saying all we can tell is what Grim was saying. Like it doesn't take place after Justice League. Like the formation of Justice League. Basically, yes, because it just can't. So that's like all we know. Yeah.
Right on.
But I'm pumped.
Yes.
We could probably take a look at the jets that were flying that he punched and like find out when they were flying those jets. And
that's what I was gonna say. What if it's a mix? What if it's a little bit of both? It's scenes from the first time the Justice Society, the JLA, JSA. Yes, JSA, Justice Society of America. If it's from when they first encountered Black Adam, and then now it's things that are happening now. That's why you got jets and shit. Now he's back up for whatever reason, because you have the Marvels, which is the name of the family of all of the Shazam kids.
Mm-hmm.
They're the Marvels. Just wanted to throw that in there because it seemed to be a question. You guys weren't sure what the name. They're the Marvels, unfortunately, because back in the day there was a whole big battle when Captain Marvel first showed up, who is Shazam, and it was a dig at. That was when DC was going up against Marvel. That's why they won. They quick and they coined Wonder Man. That's sense. Why over there, and then they took DC to court to fight for the word, the Marvel, the Captain Marvel title, because of Marvel, the Kree soldier. They had that comic. So then that's why he got taken away Shazam. And he's called Shazam. exactly. But they are still technically the Marvel family.
That's right.
They're the family of Marvels.
Yeah, and actually, that character wasn't even part of DC Comics before one was created, right? Like it wasn't even Action Comics. I think it was something else too.
Something else, yeah. But it was folded in the umbrella of DC, and then so they took it. It's the same reason why Death's Head was supposed to be a Transformer, but he's in Marvel, and it's the same. You know, we got to make a comic book, and we were going to put him in Transformers, but now we can't. So now he's an alien, and somewhere in the state now he's Marvel. Now we're good. They're always pulling stuff like that. But if they went and did that, they could bridge the gap between, say, the 1940s, 50s, 60s with the original JSA, and have Dr. Fate now knowing who this guy is, then saying, "Hey, this dude's trouble, and we need to either rebuild the JSA." Or, hey, there's these new guys. Let's try to get them.
That's sick.
Yeah. That would be a way to do it.
Yeah, that'd be tight.
Maybe off the top of my head.
No, I love that. I love that theory, and I hope that's true, because this spanning over time, and then eventually, like, obviously Black Adam survives, and is he a good guy? Is he a bad guy? I don't know if we even need to know that answer, but we know that eventually he's gonna come up with where Superman is at now with the Justice League. And that's that perfect segue there. So, man, that'd be dope. Oh, well, I'm pumped about that. We'll ride on, guys. I'm gonna keep reading it. Hopefully I read a lot more of it by the time I have to go to the movies on Thursday. If you want, our next books are going to be Black Panther. I'm gonna be reading a lot of Black Panther. Yeah, Grim, maybe we have to have you on again to, impart some Black Panther knowledge on us, because that would be dope. But thank you so much for being here, man. Appreciate it. Thanks for coming in, dropping some knowledge on us, having some fun, joking around. Like, it's been great having you, man. And any final words you got for us?
Taser face.
Taser face.
Taser face.
There you go. Hey, not everybody can be in it unless you know this guy that's up here with us. So yeah.
Just always remember, it's metaphorical, man.
That's right. 100%.
That's right. But thank you for having me. If you guys ever want me to come back, I'm more than happy to. This has actually been a blast. This has been 2-3 hours of just hardcore geek fun that I love.
Yes,
thank you.
2 hours and 55 minutes thus far.
It's been a blast. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, it's been a great time. Drake, what about you?
No, dude, we got a lot of stuff to watch moving forward, going into the holiday season. So just look forward to a lot more reviews, subscribe, all that jazz.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, right on. Love it. Scott.
Thank you, Grim, for joining us. It's always a blast talking with you guys as well. And shout out to Kevin Jection and Geek Freaks Podcast in the Twitch chat for chatting along with us. That's awesome. Nice. And watching. So
that's a tight name, Kevin Jackson. I like that.
Yeah, that's a good one.
You can use that. You can use that on a date, baby. You know what you miss in your life.
Yeah. He's like, oh, I thought your name was Tom. Oh, yeah. Never mind. But all right, guys.
That was when I didn't have the eye patch.
Nice. Good callback. Good callback. All right, everybody. Well, thank you guys so much for sticking around. Appreciate you being here with us. Check out the stuff if you haven't watched it. Look out for Black Adam. It's coming out this week. Like I said, October 21st, I think, is the official release date. So let us know what you think about the movie. Let us know what you think about She-Hulk, House of the Dragon, Rings of Power, all the above. We'll be back with more episodes next week. And thanks for sticking it with us. Hello, guys. If you like what you hear, please like, follow, and subscribe. Just how we like chatting with our friends, please share this with yours. Feel free to join the squad and follow us on Twitch, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube at JoyStickShow, Joystick Show. Or if you feel like submitting topics or asking questions to be discussed on further episodes, you can email us at joystick.show@gmail.com. Peace out and make it a great rest of your week.
The Joystick Show.